What's going on, Ambitious Vets? Welcome to episode number 22 of the Ambitious Vet Show. We're bringing you something pretty special. We're going to be releasing that live Q&A triple threat Thirsty Thursday show from back in July with myself, TEDx speaker Sean Douglas, and Vet to Biz Life founder and mentor to many out of the uniform, Dan Dwyer. Welcome to the Ambitious Vet. My name is Chris Hoffman, Marine Corps combat veteran turned passion-driven entrepreneur. Now, guys, we're here to dive into the trenches with today's top-performing military veterans that were once warrior-made, but are now passion-driven. Now, guys, as they share their stories, their failures, and their journey of what it took, we just hope that this unlocks your secret formula to living a more impactful, meaningful, and top-performing civilian life. All right. So, guys, those of you guys that are listening to this, you probably found this podcast because you identified with maybe the word ambition or ambitious, or maybe you just are getting out of the uniform, or maybe you're a civilian listening to this and you just have a big vision, but you're finding yourself getting met with that ever so friendly adversity that we hit as we seek things that are not necessarily attached to our skill set or our mindset in the moment, right? So, guys, I want to help drive you to a place where you can go be around more like-minded individuals. Now, guys, you do have to be a veteran or an active duty military person to be a part of this tribe. But guys, I want to invite you to Veteran Empowerment Transition, guys, where we are creating really just a new breed of transitioning veterans, ones that are resourceful, self-aware, always constantly looking to seek self-improvement, and really just want to figure out what it takes to live an impactful life out of the uniform. Guys, here we have over 550 plus ambitious vets, all the way from people that are best-selling authors, professional speakers, all the way from people that are just taking those first footsteps out of the uniform. You guys will have access to all the guests that are on this podcast there. You guys are going to get 2 weekly live interviews. One, a passion-driven tip from me where you get live engagement with me one-on-one. You're also going to be able to be involved with the live interviews from this podcast where we repurpose and put inside of iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play. So that'll be exciting for you guys to go in and create some of the content that gets distributed and even get shout out to all these distributions as iTunes, Google, and all that. So that'll be good for your guys' brand that are looking to expand. Also, guys, we're going to be doing exclusive offers from some of the top veteran-owned goods and services out there in nationwide. So, guys, it's definitely a no-brainer. So if you guys are an ambitious vet, you're looking to see what it takes to thrive out of the uniform, guys, it's the home of this podcast. It's the home of 10 Steps to Predict Success Out of the Uniform, my best-selling ebook on Amazon. Guys, if you're looking to thrive out of the uniform, you're looking to become known for something, go to Veteran Empowerment Transition Facebook group, and we look forward to seeing how we can serve you. See you there. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and dive into some cool stuff on this Thirsty Thursday live show that we did back in July. So for those of you guys that were not live with us, we had a lot of anticipation around it. We had a lot of questions come in, so we tackle 3 or 4 major questions that are some of the top most talked about topics in the people that are getting out of the uniform today, and I'll dive into those right after these introductions. But, these 2 individuals that we do this triple threat interview with is 2 of the closest people that I hold close to my heart in the military infiltrator community, primarily because one is like a father figure to me and a mentor. The other is one of the few people that can keep up with my passion and work ethic, Sean Douglas. Now, Sean, active duty Air Force guy, runs his own mastermind called the Success Corps. TEDx speaker, actually realized his dream and became a TEDx speaker back last December. And he still also finds time to still do 20 to 25 speaking engagements every year. Talk about passion. Talk about ambitious vet. Sean Douglas is the definition of having a big vision and enduring whatever he has to do to accomplish that. Now, Dan Dwyer, as I said, father figure to me, 22 years Army veteran, consultant firm, that he owns. He consults companies like Coors, Autobots, just around performance development, management development, stuff like that. Some of the top companies that you guys go and utilize their goods and services every single day. He actually just recently started a company in the last 12 months called Vet to Biz Life, where he has a podcast, does speaking engagements, coaches some of the fastest upcoming ambitious vets looking to become successful entrepreneurs. Guys, I'm excited to dive into this one, guys. We talk on topics around the lines of like, what are the importance of creating and being a part of tribes when you're going through hard times out of the uniform. Sean talks about the power of masterminds, shares a couple that he's a part of. Another question was the power of networking and how do I actually develop people skills out of the uniform. Dan talked about reconnaissance and how he never goes into any event, whether it be a networking event, conference, or anything, without knowing who's in the room. He wants to know more about them than they know about him, which is some powerful stuff, guys. Next question is pretty much how do we, as ambitious vets, how do we ever realize that people actually have our six out of the uniform, right? When we're in the uniform, we feel like our brothers and sisters to the left and right side of us have our back. How do we feel like that out of the uniform? And Sean Douglas hits very good on that. And then the last question we had time for in this 45-minute triple threat interview was what daily anchors do me, Sean, and Dan practice on a daily basis that creates sustainable and long-term success out of the uniform. Dan Dwyer did one of his powerful one-line wisdom givers. The bigger the vision, the more you prioritize self-care, and just talking about battle rhythm and the importance of finding that battle rhythm out of the uniforms. Guys, I'm excited to go ahead and release this episode, guys. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in to the Thirsty Thursday Live with myself, Dan Dwyer, and Sean Douglas. Let's get it.
What's up, man?
Certainly are.
Come on. So who wants to go first?
Well, I'm a big fan of air-ground integration, and I love the air support, so I'm going to defer to Mr. Sean Douglas first.
Okay.
Oh, man, put me on the spot. Jeez. Hey, man, thanks for the introduction, dude. I'm like you said, man, I'm super passionate. I was never like that before, kind of just floundered through life, but now I just live my life daily. I'm passionate to wake up. I'm passionate to go to work. I'm passionate for everything that I do, even the stuff that sucks. You guys know what I'm talking about, the stuff that sucks. Yep. You're like, God, I want to pay somebody so bad to do this, right? But, I think that across all branches, we have one equal saying is embrace the suck. You just got to sometimes just embrace the suck. So, yeah, dude, my show's called Life Transformation Radio. Started it back in February of 2016. And the one thing I did was I wrote out a guest list. Like, who do I want on the show? Like, who do I know? Just like what comes to mind. So I wrote dudes like Gary Vee, of course, all the influencers. And so, some of the mainstream people that you guys would know would be like Bruce Buffer from UFC was on my show. It was like a once in a lifetime shot. Tom Ziegler, who was Zig Ziglar's son, was on my show. The founder of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Frank Shankowitz, was on my show. His friend, Greg Reed, who wrote the book with Sharon Lecter, 3 Feet from Gold. Amazing, amazing book. If you haven't read that book, 3 Feet from Gold, Greg Reed, he was on my show. So I had huge people on my show. And I'll tell you what, the people who aren't huge, the people who are not well-known, the people who are just like a normal person, like they're just as good as as the highly successful people. So I learned a lot on the show, delivered my dream back in December. I actually did my TEDx talk last December. Has over 10,100 and some odd views in 6 months. Since it launched in January. That's when it came to YouTube. So yeah, dude, I am freaking passionate as crap. So
yeah. I don't know how you handle everything that you handle, brother. You're an active duty, senior enlisted. Yeah. How many kids do you got?
So check this out.
How many kids?
I got 4 kids. I got a 15-year-old boy, and then the rest are girls, 11, 4, and 8 months. So yeah, dude, I'm active duty Air Force. I've got 3 years to go before I retire. I do a radio show at 5:30 Tuesday through Friday, most days. I got my own mastermind that I do. I've got my other coachees and mentees that I do throughout the week. Yep. I also get booked to speak 20 to 25 times a year. So, dude, I'm super freaking busy, but I get it all done by scheduling tasks according to my energy, not my time. That's my secret.
Bring it in.
Schedule gets your energy, not your time.
Come on, brother. Love that, man. Thanks for sharing that passion, brother.
Yeah, man.
Dan Dwyer, drop in here, brother.
Hey, happy to drop in. You know that.
Yeah.
Even without a parachute. So, hey, you covered the intro very well. But I got to share with everybody, because people who know me know that I'm a firm believer that our true legacy in life is not our job or our vacation. It's our family and our kids. So I got to start out by saying I'm a father first, a husband of over 26 years. I've got 2 sons who have, I didn't pressure them, but they followed my footsteps. My oldest is an Army Ranger in a Ranger battalion. My youngest is in Afghanistan now, as the RTO for his infantry battalion commander.
Wow.
He shared a comment the other day in a bub where that battalion commander shared with the brigade commander that he's probably the best in his battalion at his craft. And that's a good thing. But I encourage my son to tell that battalion commander not to do that again, or he'll lose him to the brigade commander, right? So, but as you stated, I took off the uniform in December of 2006. I'd always planned on staying 20. I stayed 22. I always judge success as not the position or rank you attain, but leaving with what you came in with. I stayed an extra 2 years because I had the great fortune of being deputy commander to H.R. McMaster, former national security advisor for Trump, who I just saw retire a couple of weeks ago. After I took off the uniform, as you said, I started doing some military strategy work in transition. Consequently, spent my 41st birthday down at a ranch in Crawford, Texas, briefing, the search plan for Iraq. But after that, I took advantage of an opportunity where economic times were challenging and organizations were stripping themselves of their organic professional development capabilities, typically found in their HR functions, and started working with companies like Coors, New Belgium, Crocs, Otterbox, and others to provide leadership development, management development, performance improvement development. Obviously, being able to immerse in those environments, I picked up and closed a lot of business acumen gaps, right? I tell veteran entrepreneurs, no matter how much energy, drive, and initiative you have, unless you had a very unique job in the military, the business acumen is just not always going to be there, and it's not your fault. But I intentionally immersed myself in those environments so I could pick up on that. So, last July, I started Vet to Biz Life, a niched effort of a pre-existing coaching business, so that I could give back and pay it forward to our veteran entrepreneurs. Certainly in that audience, I want to make sure that 9 out of 10 startups do not fail, right? So the services I provide, as you suggest, is coaching, speaking, much like Sean does, probably not as eloquently, but at least once or twice a month. And then, and then podcast. And the podcast really is only to share the successes, the challenges, the experiences, and the stories of the most inspiring veteran entrepreneurs, so that others can improve their personal and business lives, right? So that's a little bit about myself.
Boom. Just a little bit. Well, guys, I just want to thank you guys, because I know the caliber of individuals both of you guys are, and the accomplishments that you have, and the demand that you guys have with your time. For you guys to take this time is extremely valuable. For myself, I don't take it for granted. And for any veteran that's watching this, Derek Morrell, thanks for joining, brother. Megan, thanks for joining. Lucero Hernandez, hoorah. Welcome.
What's up, Derek?
Welcome.
Hey, guys.
So guys, thank you guys for joining. So guys, if you guys have any questions for these guys just did a quick bio. I mean, these guys could go on and on around the influence and the accomplishments that they've been able to go on with their life. But tonight is really about you guys. It's about you guys getting value and bridging the gaps between the challenges that you guys are dealing with, either business, life, mindset, or even occupational every single day. This is really for ambitious vets out there that want to talk to influencers that have gone through those challenges. I know, Sean, you went through a tough time in your life. Dan, I mean, I'm sure you got tons of wisdom to provide as well. But guys, this is for you guys. James Snow, what's going on, brother? Thanks for joining. This show is for you guys. We got scheduled for about 30 minutes for Q&A. We're going to start with some documented questions here. We'll answer those. And then if you guys got any questions, just go ahead and drop these in. So first and foremost, you guys can jump in, as soon as I ask the question, whoever wants to go first. But the first question is from Ben Kaloy. He's the moderator of this group. He's one of the leaders that we've built inside this group. And he's just a brilliant dude, former Marine. So his question is what tribes have you associated yourself with in your life? The power of the tribe is critical when the times start getting tough, right? So guys, who'd like to go first in answering that question?
I'm going to defer to the A-10 pilot again. I'm, as an armored cavalry guy, and even though we've gotten rid of it, is probably one of our best friends. I suggest we do so just so we keep the sequence and keep it going.
Okay. So yeah, man, I've aligned myself with some dirt bags in my life, because that's what we do as young E1, E2, E3s, right? We just hang out with the dirt bags because
absolutely,
but yeah, dude. So currently I am heavily involved in a community called it's the number one life fully lived. And it's a 5,000, probably more than that now. It's probably like 6,000, but the circle's small, but the group is tough, man. So guys like Hal Elrod's in the group, with the Miracle Morning, and like Jeff Hoffman from Priceline.com. He founder of Priceline.com. He's in the group. Pat Haban and other, huge names like Mark Yagi. There's a couple veterans in there, but it's a group of entrepreneurs who want to live healthy, wealthy lives. That's what it is. It's literally like you have to be an entrepreneur, and you had to have built a business to be even considered to be in the group, So the One Life Fully Lived holds 2 conferences a year, one in June that we just did in Philadelphia, and then the other one is in Sacramento in October. And it's a tribe of people who want to live healthy, wealthy lives. That's it. And we want to live life to the fullest. You know what I mean? So there's mindfulness gurus in there. Anything you want to know, it's in there. And so there's a Facebook group community that you can join, but I'm heavily involved in that one. And then we spawned off. Our millionaire mentor is Rock Thomas. Rock Thomas just featured on Goldcast like a month or 2 ago. And he formerly was a coach for Tony Robbins.
Wow.
And so he brings in these expert gurus, in this monthly mastermind that we have, and it's a paid mastermind, and we literally mastermind with millionaires and guys who are worth 10 million, guys who are worth 100 million, and the whole thing is called M1 March to a Million. That's the whole thing. We're marching to our first million. So when you first join, you have to pick a millionaire date.
Come on.
So to date, I joined in July of 2016. And I set my millionaire date for November 2021, November 1st, 2021, because that's when I exit the Air Force. And to date, I'm a quarter of the way there. So in 2 years, I've built a net worth of almost $250,000. In that 2 years of the group, I went from, I don't know, to that. Like, I want to do it.
Right.
Like, I'm going to, like, you just frame a mindset to where I can do what I want to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no limiting beliefs. So those are the 2 tribes that I've aligned myself with the most.
Yep.
And of course, I'm building my tribe right now in the Success Corps, which is modeled after the military. But other than that, man, that's it.
No, absolutely, man. I think it's extremely powerful to surround yourself with minds that outthink you, and you actually grow right into them.
When you're the small fish, that's what you want to be. If I ever become a big fish, in the pond, it's time to move on and get better friends.
No, absolutely. Thanks for sharing, brother. Dan, what do you got on that, brother?
No, those are great. Chronologically in life, and we go through different seasons of life, of course. I think the first tribes that I associated with were sports teams, baseball, basketball, and football. Growing up in central Indiana, we didn't have some of the teams that are available today, like lacrosse and soccer. So, and growing up in the same hometown as John Wooden, I had to play basketball. So, but with my kids, took just the opposite approach. I just supported and resourced, and I felt that was important. So consequently, they both ended up wrestling, right? But sports teams early on, it was important to me. Obviously the military has the very best tribes, and they're in echelons. So starting out as a platoon leader at a tribe of 16, manning 4 M1 Abrams tanks, up to regimental level, 5,200 soldiers. So probably the greatest tribe ever, and clearly the best leadership laboratory you'll ever find is in our services. Nowhere else will you find a better representative sample of our society demographically than in the military. And I think I'm a better man for it. But, Sean hinted on something too. And I encourage all transitioning veterans to consider this. We spend so much time through our lives gravitating towards people who are like-minded, right? I would challenge you or encourage you to start gravitating towards those people who are totally different. Those tribes that are totally different, because that's where learning and growth occurs. One of my non-negotiable goals for 2018, because I've traveled a lot the last 10 years, is to connect more in the city that I live in, Colorado Springs. And the way I've done that is, got on the military advisory committee or council for the Chamber of Commerce, Economic Development Council. As I've shared, helping transitioning veterans, because I never really purposely went into the transition space, more towards the veteran entrepreneurs, but I've found a gap there. All these transitioning organizations are doing great stuff for our veterans, but very few talk about or address that gap about those veterans who don't necessarily want to work for somebody, but work for themselves, right? And start their own business. So I've started talking to a couple of local organizations out of Fort Carson, Peterson Air Force Base, the Air Force Academy, to give back and pay it forward, right? Another, and I'll close with this, another opportunity for veterans that are transitioning, especially if you're moving to a city that or town that you haven't been in for a while, is go to meetup.com.
Yes.
And find people that you share the same passions with.
Right.
And not to go in there and just sell, ask, but develop relationships and rapport. I noticed, and another guy, Brian Galetta, who we know, noticed the absence of a veteran entrepreneur group in Colorado Springs. So we've started one. So each month we'll meet at a different veteran-owned business, right? And talk about each other's businesses, their highs, their lows, their challenges, and then see what we can do to address them without, selling anything in terms of a service or product. And I know if I can't address it, then I've got a network of thousands that I can reach out to, make the introductions, and help people advance. And I think that's very powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're located in Colorado Springs, right, Dan?
That's right.
So any ambitious vet that's watching this live now or later, guys, if you guys are around Colorado Springs, even if you're like an hour away, Dan is definitely worth the drive. I get 45 minutes with them about once a month. And just his wisdom narrows time frames for me. So guys, definitely connect with him. Thanks for sharing all that, Dan. So, yeah, brother. So, really, Brandon Harris, thanks for joining. Marine that's transitioning out in 2 months, moving down to Houston, Texas. He's going to start a nutrition company. Good luck with that, brother. Thanks for joining us. So I would just add to this. I'll be real quick, but I read a book called The Tribe. And it's by Seth Golden. Yeah. And that's the book I read right before I started this group. And it talks about how you create a movement and how you get into a tribe that thrives is you gotta be around a group of people that have a vision bigger than their current circumstances, right? Yeah. And they gotta believe in something bigger than their certain circumstances. So guys, my wisdom to you guys is just get around people that have a vision in their life those that are focused on getting their bills paid or just trying to survive in life. If you're ambitious, guys, surround yourself with people with a vision, someone that's hungry, isn't just wanting to live off the GI Bill, or, nothing wrong with that. Just live off the GI Bill or go and reap the benefits, guys. Go ahead and surround yourself with people that are living into a vision bigger than their circumstances. And you can use meetup.com. I've used that before in the past. There's Eventbrite that you can go to networking events, all kinds of resources to do that. But guys, find people that have a vision, align with your core values as a human being. And I promise you guys will be living an empowered life out of the uniform. And that's my wisdom. So Lucero Hernandez, she just says, I'm not into networking. I've tried going to events that relate to my profession, but it just doesn't work for me. I seem to get really awkward with people and really don't contribute. Can you give me some advice on how to be a better people person? Hope this makes sense. Who would like to jump into that?
Yeah, you gotta look, networking events are not just shove a business card in your face and move on, which I freaking can't stand that crap.
Right.
If I connect with somebody, like right now, like I connect with somebody, I'm like, damn, like, wow, what do you do? Oh my God, that's awesome. Like, dude, we should connect. Like, yeah, I'm like, what's your Facebook? What's your email? What's your LinkedIn? I'm already Facebooking you. I'm already and I'll send you a message, like, just what we talked about, just to recap, and I'll send you a follow-up the next day. Like, most guys are like, yeah, let's connect. And they walk away. Like, that's freaking pointless. Right. You know what I mean? So I'm already connecting. Like, what's your social media platforms? Here's an email address. You know what I mean? And I may give a business card just because I have them, because some people are like, well, let me just get the business card.
Yep.
I ain't got time for that. What's your Facebook? What's your LinkedIn? Give me your Snapagram and Instachats. Like, let's do this thing, Right. So if you don't want to be socially awkward, go in there with a plan and go in there with an elevator pitch ready to go.
Yep.
Don't think of it as pitching, but here's the number one question is actually the number two questions. There's two questions you get when you walk into a networking event. Hey, how are you? And what do you do? That's it.
Come on.
That's it.
Brother,
hey, how are you and what do you do?
You lighting me up right now, man. Your passion.
So when you go in there and they're like, how you doing? I'm like, doing amazing. How are you? It always throws people off.
Yeah.
Like, it always throws people off. They're like, oh, you're doing amazing? Like, and somebody's like, I'm doing good. I'm like, good, not great. Well, I want them to say great, because it lifts the spirits. I'm doing good. I don't live a good life. I live a great life. So you should live a great life. So I always sound like, you're good, not great. They're like, oh yeah, I guess I'm like, well, what are you thankful for?
Yep.
And I get them to get into the mindset of, yeah, like, this is great. This is amazing. This is, awesome. So, okay, then, well, this is what I do. And this is, all that stuff. So already have a pitch ready to go, and already have a strategy going in and an exit strategy going out. An exit strategy is where this guy's like, so there I was like 20 years ago, and like 10 minutes later is still on the story. You're like, well, I got to go to the bathroom, or I got to always have these two things in mind.
I get it. You're freaking passionate, bro. You're lighting everyone up right now. So she just says, yeah, but that's where I get stopped. And I want to add something right here. I mean, I just started going face-to-face networking out here in San Diego again. That's been something that I've stopped since I got on my last network marketing company. I just started getting back into the trenches out here in San Diego. And first thing that hits me is fear. I suffer from the imposter syndrome, where I feel like I'm going to go into these places and I'm going to be like a fraud, and I'm not going to be as successful as all these people. These guys are all more successful than me. It goes on and on. So this is a skill set that I've developed. And since the two veteran networking events I've come out in San Diego over the past 2 weeks, I've started networking. It's really worked out for me. One tip is listen more than you speak. Yep. Right. I listen for people's commitments. And in my mind, as I'm being curiously engaged with what they're sharing about what they're passionate about. Because think about it, people are going to networking events to share about their passions. They give a shit less about you. How can you help them? So that's what I listen for, is I listen to their commitments, and I listen to how can I narrow a time frame to get them to their commitment as soon as possible. That's how I build my value with that person. And two, my second strategy is I find out who's the facilitator of the event immediately. I go introduce myself to them, and I tell them exactly who I am and what I do. And they go start making introductions for the people that I need to be introduced to. And that has that time that I'm spending at networking events be efficient.
Yeah.
I hope that helps. Hope that helps.
Bring someone with you.
Yep. Dan, what do you got any for that, brother?
No, I mean, there's two skills you learned while you were in uniform: is reconnaissance and intelligence preparation of the battlefild. And I've never gone to an event where I didn't know more about the other people than they knew about me.
Yep.
And if you think about it, think about, I'm not a big conference goer. I don't like going there and figuring out, sitting there and thinking, what could I be doing right now if I wasn't here? But obviously starting Vet to Biz Life last July and the Military Influencer Conference, the first conference with that audience that I went to was in October. I was very intentional, but one of the things that I did, if you didn't notice, is I interviewed every guest speaker on my podcast before I showed up there, and then posted those podcasts in the Facebook group as a primer for the conference. So that broke the ice for me. People like you and others that were in a conference, they'd never met me before, but they knew who Dan Dwyer was because of the podcast that he shared, prior, so do the reconnaissance, do the IPB. And, it's not weird, so go on social media and check people out, see what they do. It's okay. Because what that does is you find common ground, mutual interest. And those sometimes are the best conversation starters before, what it is you do. Right.
Yep. Yeah, no, absolutely, brother. I love how you approached it. One thing I loved about you, brother, is the Military Influencer had an app before it even went. And Dan Dwyer was the first one going in, introducing himself, connecting like-minded people that he knew was in there. He was ahead of the game. So by the time he got there, people already knew who Dan was. You pretty much walked into the event like a damn celebrity, man. People already knew who you were.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I'm very far from that. Trust me.
Brother, but no, I mean, I'm your personal promo guy for both of you guys. I'll promote you guys all night long.
I don't know if I can afford you, but okay. Thank you.
We're totally authentic. We're very live here, guys. So guys, I got to be honest with you, Sean and Dan, my phone is about to die. We're getting live engagement. So if you guys can track the live
I got it.
And give shout outs, let me know.
I tell you what, I know you got two more questions, so I'll let Sean take the next one in the interest of time. Was a moment someone had,
super quick.
And I'll take the third one.
Perfect. All right. So next one's from Ben Cloy. All right. What is a moment someone had your 6 and you didn't even know it?
Like, should I know now? Or, I mean, obviously I would know now, right?
This is your question. What is a moment someone had your 6 and you didn't even know it? So
yeah.
You've had some tough times in your life, man. So share vulnerably right now.
Yeah, dude, I've got 2, and I'll start with the breaking the ice one, and then we'll get into the stuff.
Bring it in.
The first one was I was a drill instructor for Air Force basic training, which doesn't mean anything to Marines, but summer camp. But I was an MTI. I was a drill instructor for Air Force basic training, and I mean, you do things and you're training and whatever. But I remember I was working for this one E7 man, and this dude thought he was like king fucking Cobra, man. Like the dude, let me show you how it's done, like type crap,
Yep.
And there was another E7 that everybody loved. He was amazing at what he did. He won a lot of awards. His flights, his section, his 4 dorms always won accolades, like was always on top, always getting recognized. And ours was, it was okay. I mean, we got some stuff, but not like that. So I just remember, dude, I was walking out and the E7 started screaming at me or whatever. And I just had enough. That E7, the other one, A7B, whatever, like grabbed him, like threw him into like this little hallway area and just commenced to like verbally accosting this guy. And I heard him was like, leave him alone, whatever. Yeah. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, it was just one of those things where it's like I was an E5, he's an E7, and I can just be taken advantage of because he outranks me. And in that drill instructor world, they eat their own. And when I say eat their own, they will throw you under the bus, step on your neck for a promotion, and they'll laugh about it. They will take promotion from people, they'll take stripes from people, like they don't really care. So it's like super cutthroat. But he had my back, and I didn't even really know why until a couple months later, when I started winning individual awards and was being recognized for stuff. So that was pretty cool. So real quick. So if nobody knows this, I don't know if they do or not. Dan does, you do. So I'm a suicide survivor. In 2008, I put a gun in my mouth. I put a Springfield 1911 in my mouth and was going to squeeze one off. What I didn't realize was that there were people who actually cared. I was under the notion that nobody gave a crap. I was losing my career. I was abusing alcohol. Nobody gave a crap, and they acted like nobody gave a crap, but except for two people out of a shop of 16 actually cared, and they had called me up. They were coming over. They were like always in my face, and they were like, just always around me. And I was like, dude, you guys are annoying. Get the hell away from me. That type of stuff. But they saw me going down this negative path, man. And I was just spiraling out of control. I was with, random women. I got robbed in a hotel room one time. I slept in my car. My house burned down. Dude, it was bad. So they like that night, man, they were there. Like they picked me up, from the house. They picked me up. They handed me off to everybody that needed to be handed off to. Like they went through the whole thing, whatever. And I was so pissed off. I was like, dude, you ruined my life. Like I shouldn't even be here right now. I should, and all this stuff that you say. And now I just constantly think, I'm like, dude, thank you for saving me. Like I was ready to, I already made peace with it. Like I already knew I was going to do it. So yeah, man, that was it was tough. And that was what's crazy is it's 10 years ago, like this year, and we're coming up on a 10-year anniversary. And my wife and I were talking. I was like, man, 10 years, how crazy, man. 10 years later, I'm a TEDx speaker. I'm sitting here hanging out with you guys. I'm an influencer. Dude, it is crazy what can change in 10 years, man.
Right.
10 years.
Yeah.
And I've been sober for since 2015, since the middle of 2015. So 3 years I've been sober.
Yep.
No smoking, no drinking, nothing, man.
Brother, I love the authenticity and I love the transparency. So thanks for sharing that, brother. And I think we're all happy that you stuck around because your passion is what drives a lot of us influencers, man. So thank you for enduring that process so you can tell this story, man, because I tell a lot of veterans that I coach and even talk offline that there's no tests, there's no testimonial without a test, right?
Oh,
so,
dude. Yes.
Yeah. So now you got a great story to share that reaches people's hearts so it can cause transformation for them, man. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Whenever I am mentoring young speakers, I always tell them, I say, and I even when I'm about to get off the stage, I always say, let your mess be your message and let the test of life be your testimony.
Woo. With that being said, we're moving to the last question, man. Thanks for that. All right. So number 3 pre-documented question is from Dominic Belfour. Brother, thanks for bringing in the question. He actually just did a battle resource live inside the group. If you guys haven't watched that, go ahead and watch that. Really awesome stuff around finding your anchor points and not drifting in life. Dominic says, what are some daily anchors you use to ensure you are operating where you want to be, Dan?
Yeah. So the first anchor of my day is hitting the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, out of uniform now for almost 12 years now. That sets the tone for the rest of my day. When I first transitioned out of the Army, I would, because I live in close proximity, I used to go on to Fort Carson, hit the gym when it opens up at 5 o'clock, well before the PT time, until people were coming in there and asking me why I wasn't in uniform. Right. So, and then I started with the traveling. I started joining gyms or clubs that, no matter where I was traveling, I always picked the hotel based on its close proximity to an Anytime Fitness or whatever before the bed that's in the hotel, right? But for everybody that's transitioning, whether you're going to be a veteran entrepreneur or go into the workspace, you've got to incorporate self-care and family life into your daily routine. Self-care describes the activities that make for a meaningful life outside of work while contributing to greater performance at work. But I'll tell you, you got away with not coming home and because of operational security reasons and not telling your family what you're doing. That no longer is true, especially if you're going to be an entrepreneur. You've got to develop that understanding to be successful with those who really love you. The hustle fallacy, it tells us the bigger your vision, the more you have to sacrifice self-care. I say bullshit. What if the opposite is true? The bigger your vision, the more you prioritize self-care. Right. I really think that's important. Second anchor is if you haven't figured out how to do it now, No matter what service you were in, your leaders were always telling you to write stuff down, right? My second anchor, and when I get back to the gym, is I'm journaling, and I write everything down, everything, right? A third anchor, I have this task management tool inside my Gmail called Yanato, Yanado. It's awesome. It keeps me focused on work. There's no need to waste time jumping between Gmail and project management tools. It's right there inside my Gmail. So that's important. And then the last thing is, especially for entrepreneurs, schedule time to work on your business and not just in your business, right? That's very important. Same thing if you're transitioning to a new career. And I encourage most veterans to, get a real day job before they develop that side hustle so that they have alternate sources of income. But you've got to be a priority manager, just like you were in the military. We use terms like battle rhythm. You have to have your own battle rhythm when you take off the uniform and work and transition.
No, absolutely, brother. Them are three really good anchors, brother. And it really does set the foundation for growth in your life, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Can I add something?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, man. So here's what I've noticed in the veteran, not even vetpreneur, but just veteran world. Self-care is taboo and woo-woo.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're like, I'm not one of those weirdos. You know what I mean?
That's weakness. Yeah.
That's weakness. I will tell you right now that that the biggest thing I've done is adopt the miracle morning, like meditation, visualization, affirmations, and out of that I learned what my love language was.
Yep.
So mine is affirmations, and my wife is touch. So I've learned what my love language is, and my wife affirms me, and my friends, everybody knows what my, like when you were giving me the intro, I was like, like I feed off that, right? Like I feed off the affirmations. Like if you just said you're great, I'm like, you do better than that. You know what I mean? Like I love the affirmation part. It gets me juiced. You know what I mean? And that's what I love. So yeah, Miracle Morning's huge, man.
Yeah.
Miracle Morning. Number one rule of success: schedule everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
If you're to do 1 hour of social media, do 1 hour of social media, nothing else. If you're going to do 1 hour working in your business or on your business, then do that. And you must have a strategy. Like Dan said, you must have a strategy, but you have to schedule everything. Right now, this is scheduled. And then I schedule family time. You know what I mean? So I don't take calls past certain time. I don't, whatever, because it's 10:45 over here on the East Coast.
I know, brother. I know you're sacrificing.
So no. I mean, we're just gonna go downstairs and sit on the couch and watch some I don't know, probably Hallmark movie or something. Yeah. But I mean, it's just what I got to do, right? I mean, it's just what I got to do. So, but
Appreciate
dude. Yeah. So mindfulness, Miracle Morning, and schedule everything.
Mm-hmm.
Another drill I would encourage transitioning veterans to go through is this, your core values drill, right? I mean, obviously, no matter the service, unfortunately, many don't have values. They don't grow up in values-based home until they enter the service at Benning, Lackland, Paris Island or wherever. But it's worth revisiting, those core values that influence how we view the world and how we interact with others. It's key that we understand this. And you don't necessarily have to take those you learned in the service and just move them over into the civilian life. For example, my 5 core values, people who know me, it's authenticity, it's confidence. Of course, the precondition for confidence is clarity and competency, right? Fire. I don't know if I have the fire that Sean has, but I'm working on it. and then integrity and loyalty. Of course, those are 2 that I carried over from the Army. They're very important. Others are meaning, sustainability, a vision, creating a future by building things twice, once with vision and once with reality is pretty important. And then as you grow your teams or work on other teams, or tribes, if you will, empowerment, give others the confidence to learn, grow, and contribute to the world in sustainable ways. It's soft, but obviously people who know me well know that it's not one of my 5 core values, but love is important. My passion and desire to treat people like human beings. And I think we all should do that. I used to tell my NCOs and junior officers, I don't care if a soldier spends 1 day or 20 years in the Army, we have a responsibility to give our society a decent citizen. We have the same responsibilities out of uniform as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that you said that, Dan, because as Chris knows, I have in my Success Core Mastermind, I have the 10 rules of engagement. Like, you must have these 10 rules. And rule number 3 is define your core values.
Right.
Literally rule number 3. So I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So I would just add, one thing that I do in the first phase of our Warrior to Passion Driven program is I do the VAL assessment, right? Assessment, even whenever you get into personal training or anything, if you hire a personal trainer, they initially get a baseline of where you're at. It's the same thing with the VAL assessment. It gets an assessment of what drives your daily behaviors, because your values, as Dan was saying, it really does create a foundation of clarity of who you are and self-awareness to actually figure out what drives your daily behavior so you can start living that more fulfilling life. Think about it. When you were in the uniform, you were conditioned to follow the values of the organization. Me, Marine Corps, honor, courage, commitment. Everything was aligned around that. I mean, literally in boot camp, I'd be getting broken off on the quarterdeck, honor, courage, commitment, stuff like that, getting, IT'd. But guys, really focus on, doing assessments to find those. And if you guys want that resource for the VAL assessment, let me know. I can PM you that resource. Dr. Golden is the founder of that. But guys, one anchor that I do, and then we'll go ahead and allow these guys to announce how you can get connected to them, is I go on a 4-hour hike every Sunday, first thing in the morning, and I get up to about an hour north of San Diego to where I lose cell service, I lose internet service, and I just disconnect from the noise. One thing I was sharing with Dan right before we went live is I've never been a demand in anybody's life. One of the biggest struggles I've ever dealt with in my life is never feeling good enough and feeling valuable. And really, I'm at the point in my life where people are demanding my time and I'm giving it to everybody. I'm starting to get this unsettlement inside my heart. And how I get reconnected is I go up for a 4-hour hike. I get clear on what's important to Chris Hoffman before I start figuring out what's important to other people. And that way it gives me a 10,000 foot view so I can see the small opportunity in the day-to-day grind of how I can really provide real, authentic, and quality value to people's lives. So guys, that's something I do. So I want to start out with Dan, brother. How did people connect with you, man? How can people find you? All that good stuff, brother.
Well, the first thing you can do is you can cheat and start out at a 6,000 foot view, because I live in Colorado Springs with an unobstructed view of Pikes Peak at 14,000 feet. So, but of course, my social media mediums that I use primarily are LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can contact me at dan@vet2bizlife.com. That's the number 2, vet2bizlife.com. You could, of course, go to my website, which is the same, vet2bizlife.com. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I pride myself as trying to be very responsive. So I look forward to communicating and developing rapport with any of your audience.
Yeah, for sure. And I can attest to that. Dan's super accessible. So guys, definitely don't be afraid or intimidated to connect with Dan. Dan has a huge heart and he's really committed to ambitious vets, really gaining some success out of the uniform. So guys, definitely connect with him. Sean, brother, how can people find you, brother?
Yeah, man. So I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook, man. That's all I do. I just concentrate on LinkedIn and Facebook. And so I've got, for my radio show, I've got the Life Transformation Radio Community Facebook group. I've got the Success Core Facebook group. And then I've got a bunch of freaking pages, and I've got I own like half of the real estate, it seems like, in Facebook. I have this group and this group and this group and this group, 20 pages, and this is like, I run ads out of all of them. So, but yeah, man, LinkedIn and Facebook, that's just kind of how I roll, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think your kid's in the background waving at us too.
I didn't even see it come in. So I was like, the heck is that? Just a hand.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Stephen Colin asks, how do each of you deal with entitlement to the people you interact with? That's what he wants to know.
All right. So we're going to answer this one and then we're going to go due to time reasons, but we'll get this answer. Dan, do you want to go first with this question, brother?
Yeah, I get it. You will run into people that feel entitled.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a lot of time researching the millennial generation, that generation that was born between 1980 to 2000. Now I don't read anything about it because I truly believe that generation is no different than any other generation. They want to be valued members of our society. So when I go in and talk to senior leaders at this C-suite level all the time, I tell them, how you onboard people, how you develop them, how you value them, how you foster a culture of recognition because they grew up, with 11 ribbons in a 6-lane pool, and all drives on how you retain quality people, right? So I don't fault them. If you look at the history of our military, our Vietnam veterans came back. And they certainly didn't feel entitled in any way. In fact, our society probably served them much displeasure and injustice. Today, our society, since going into Afghanistan 2002, Iraq 2003, we've for all the right reasons, we've elevated and we've bolstered the service members who allow them to live a life of freedom that they experience and cherish every day. So, I looked at my separation from the military is kind of different. I felt that even though I retired, I got a pension, others don't, but I worked a great job, per our earlier question, was surrounded in a great tribe of people that will always be memorable. I got paid fair wages. I learned a lot from a personal and professional development standpoint. So, in short order, when I took off the uniform, I felt everything was square with Uncle Sam. He didn't owe me anything. The rest is really up to each individual and how successful they are out of uniform, whether they transition or retire.
Nice. Awesome. I mean, for me with the sense of entitlement, how I deal with it is I was that guy for the first year and a half when I got out. I was trying to always increase my disability check because I saw it as quote unquote passive income because I was one of those guys that was trying to get rich quick. So I joined a lot of network marketing companies when I got out and I bought into the vision of 3 years to, making a lot of money. And although I did make some good money, I didn't get rich. And no, I'm not like a top earner of a network marketing company and I am out of them. But guys, it wasn't until I gave up a sense of entitlement that I started actually creating increase in my life.
Yeah.
How I see entitlement is I see entitlement as contracting in your life, like you're taking away versus investing into something. And I just read a good book called The Go Giver when I was out with the flu for like four days.
Yeah.
And it talks about simple business and just life philosophies on how to thrive. And it talks about, once you start impacting more people, and volume of people, that's when your value will accumulate, but also have more other people's interests in mind than you have your own, and you'll increase your value. And the law of reciprocation will naturally come towards you. So that was a really damn good book that I read, but it wasn't until I stopped, letting go of what people, owed me and stuff like that, when I started starting to live that passion-driven life that I always talk about. I mean, literally, I manage a full-time career marketing consulting for real estate agents, podcasting, this group, launching a program, just launched an ebook. And it is all coming from an intention of like, how do I provide more value? Right. And that's why, I live a fulfilling life now is because I'm not figuring out how do I take it away? How do I provide more value? Because one of the core values from military is you serve. Get out and use those core values, serve, and you'll find increase. And that's what I have to say.
Man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Dude, I'm all about like information warfare, dude. Like I freaking talk in fact. I don't talk in opinions. I'll let people know like, well, here's what I think. You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of guys like, well, this is the way. I'm like, well, like research has shown, or scientific research shows, what business strategy experts think. You know what I mean? So with the entitlement thing, man, I was speaking at an event a couple of months ago, and the guy's like, "Oh my God, you're amazing, dude! I can get you booked on so many stages." I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome. What's your strategy?" "Oh, I got a killer strategy." "What is it?" "Oh, dude, it's gonna blow your mind." "What is your strategy?" Actually, hold on a second. How many stages have you gotten booked on this year? Well, I don't speak. I get other people booked. Have you ever spoken on stage? Well, no. I get booked. Like I book people. Right. Have you ever been booked on stage? No, I get other people booked. Okay, got it. So I got this event and I speak 20 times a year. I mean, I don't know what else I'm doing differently than you. Like, how old are you? 23? So you've never been booked. What's the most you've ever booked somebody for? Oh, a couple thousand. Like, I just got booked for 5K.
Mhm.
So I'm not really your target, man. I'm sorry. I'm not really your target. But here's what I would do. Went into coach mode and I was like, here's what I would do. And the first thing I told him was like, I wouldn't approach somebody fresh off the stage who's older than you, has more resources than you, and then try to pitch them and why they should work with you. Probably not going to happen. You should probably build a relationship first. And that comes with experience, not a 23-year-old fresh out of college trying to build a business.
Yeah.
Probably not going to happen. He was like, okay. And like walked away. Sometimes you just got to talk in fact, you know what I mean? And not really chop them down, but like really break it down for them. Like, dude, that's not how this works.
Right.
Sorry, man. You know, what pisses me off the most is when I get a Facebook message. Hey, we'd like to connect with you. I've got this awesome product. And I literally text it back and go, yeah, I don't care. Like, don't just Facebook message me and say, hey, I got this awesome thing. You need this.
Right.
No, I don't.
Right. Yeah. You gotta come at it with a win-win 100%.
Dude, have to.
Right. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank both of you guys for coming on tonight, guys. I mean, Dan, brother, you got a family. You're running a business, 2 businesses, Vet to Biz Life, and your own consulting firm on the side, brother. So thank you for making time. Sean, you got an army behind you. One of your kids is like, can't wait for you to go down and watch the movie. And just, brother, I mean, both of you guys are extremely valued. So thank you for making time tonight. And guys, Ambitious Vet, that's it. Tonight is the special, the Ambitious Vet live show. Hope you guys enjoyed Thirsty Thursday, guys. If you guys want to connect with either of you guys, go ahead and connect with them right after this. PM them. They're both real people, just like you and I. That really the only thing that's bridging the difference is experience and consistency towards what they're passionate about. So guys, definitely reach out to them, connect with them. If you guys have any other questions, I'm sure Dan and Sean will be active in the comments below, guys. With that being said,
dude, you should do this once a month.
Woo!
Dude, I'm just saying, like, I'm like visionary right now. You should do this once a month, first Thursday of the month, right? And for an entire month, just get questions.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Bring 2 people on, do like 45 minutes to an hour, just pull back the veil and just talk shop, crack a couple beers, just talk shop. I mean, I don't drink, but you guys are, whatever, but that's what I would do. I do a Thirsty Thursday, first Thursday of the month, or you can do it end of the month, whatever makes sense to you. And we just load up right here and just hang out and talk shop.
Yep.
Or every day, Moonshine Monday, Tuesday,
Tequila Tuesday, Whiskey Wednesday.
Hey, you're about to make people think you're an alcoholic, Dan.
Free for all Friday. 7 and 7 Sunday.
Oh my gosh.
Every Calverman likes their bourbon. And scotch.
Oh, dude, just went to a whole nother level.
Yes, I love it.
I don't smoke cigars in my house, so.
Okay. You go on the back deck while you drink your whiskey and just ponder about life's deep experiences.
Yep.
I love it. So yeah, we'll chat offline about that, brother. Sound good?
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. Yep, absolutely. Hold the vision and trust the process, guys. Take care. Well, there you have it, Ambitious Vets. There's episode number 22 of the Ambitious Vet Show with the Super Thirsty Thursday live interview with myself, Dan Dwyer, and Sean Douglas, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. There was tons of golden grenades in there. You guys definitely heard some of my thoughts inside of that, so I'm not going to be putting any afterthought into this episode, guys. But as always, if you have any feedback, any at all, guests that you would like to have on the show, if areas where you see that need to be improved, anything like that, this lives and breathes off you guys having value week in and week out. So guys, email me at choffman@vettrainingcoaching.com. 2 F's, 2 N's. Would love to hear some of your feedback, guys. Don't forget to go and rate and review the podcast if you're an Android user or an Apple user. We want to be reaching as many ambitious vets and equipping them with everything they need to be successful, so help us out with that. Guys, and lastly, we already know that you're warrior made. But to become passion driven, think about it. You've got to go and utilize the knowledge. Knowledge is only power if it's actually in action. How do you ever expect to have the power if you're just gaining up tons of knowledge? Then you're just a know-it-all like 90% of people. Ambitious vets are the 2% that go out and execute. They're too busy to even talk about what they're going to do. They're just so much in action, guys. I'm here on Friday night at 10 p.m. in my apartment complex in San Diego, implementing what I learned, guys. That's what this whole podcast is about. That's why I sacrifice, and that's why we together will go and become passion driven. Let's go get it.